In this video, we're going to look at how we can add items to a list. So suppose that we have our quiz score list we've looked at in the past, and suppose we took a new quiz and we want to add that new score to our list. There's several ways to do this in Python. The first way that we're going to learn about uses the append operation, which is part of the standard Python library. The standard Python library just means the methods and functions that are included in Python that you don't have to do anything special to gain access to. They're standard and automatically included, so you don't have to do anything special in order to access them within your software. Whenever you use the append method in Python, the list will naturally grow by adding the new item to the back of the list. By back, I mean the right-hand side of it, which we kind of think of as the end of the list. So the list is automatically going to grow one item bigger, and the new value is going to be stored in the rightmost box of the updated list. The general syntax for appending a new item to the list looks like this. You indicate the identifier of the list, that's just the variable name that you give to your list collection. Then include a .append, that's the syntax that tells Python that you want to append an item to the list. And then finally, in parentheses at the end, include the identifier or the literal value that you want to add to the list. So that can be a variable name, or it could be a literal value like a decimal or an integer value, or it could be a text string that you'd like to add to your collection. So suppose that we've created our quiz score list and we want to read a new value from user input and then add that new value to the list. In order to do that, we might write this program. Quiz score list and then equals 10, 1, 8, 7, 8, 5. That's just initializing our list that we're using to start out. Then if you want to display the contents of that list, you would say print quiz score list. Then because we want to read our new quiz value from user input, we would include an input statement. I'm going to store the value that the user enters in this identifier new quiz. So I say new quiz and then the assignment operator. And then because this is a numeric data, I include the int here, meaning that they're only going to enter whole number quiz scores. Then I'm going to include my input prompt, enter a new quiz score. So that message will display to the screen, and then the user will enter a value that will get stored in my program as new quiz. Once I have my new quiz variable, I can append it to my quiz score list by saying quiz score list, that's my list identifier, and then .append, that's the syntax for adding something or appending something to the list. And then finally, the name of my identifier in parentheses that tells it the value that I want to add to the collection. If I wanted to, I could print out the quiz score list after I did that. Let's go ahead and type that in Python, just so you can see it in action. I'll make a new file. So quiz score list equals 10, 1, 8, 7, 8, 5. And then I want to print that out. And then I want to make a new variable, new quiz, and get that value from user input. And then finally, I want to append that to my quiz score list and then print the resulting list, the updated version. Excellent. So let's run that in Python to see what kind of output we get. See if I made any typos. So if I enter a new quiz score value, let's say I get a 9 out of 10 on my quiz. So I'm entering a 9. And then Python shows me the updated list. Now it contains all the same values that it had before, but we've appended a 9 to the right-hand side of the list. And that's the way the append operation works. Let's suppose you want to add a new quiz score value and it's a 6, always a 6. You don't have to get user input for this one. So write a Python instruction that would append that new quiz value to the quiz score list. Pause your video and see if you can come up with a statement that does that. This time you'll just need to write one Python instruction to do the append operation. Then unpause the video and come back and check your answer. So in order to append the value 6 to the list, you would indicate the list identifier, quiz score list, then the dot append operation, and then this time we're appending a literal value 6 to the list. If we did this, the updated list, when we printed it out afterwards, would look like this. It would have all the same values in it, including the 9 that we added above, and then the 6 would get added into the new rightmost position. And the total list would include all 8 values.